Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 28, Text 33. Chapter's name is Jnana Yoga. Purvam grahitam gunakarma chitram Ajnanamatma anya viviktamanga Nivartate tat punarikshayeva Na grahate na api visrichaya atma. Can you repeat? Purvam grahitam gunakarma chitram Ajnanam atma anya viviktamanga Nivartate tat punarikshayeva Na grahate napi visrichya atma. So, what word meaning? Purvam, previously. Grahitam, accepted. Guna, of the modes of nature. Karma, by the activities. Chitram, made varied. Ajnanam, the ignorance. Atmani, upon the soul. Aviviktam, imposed as identical. Anga, my dear Uddhava, my dear Uddhava. Nivartate, ceases. That, tat, that. Punaha, again. Ikshaya, by knowledge. Eva, alone. Na grahiyate, is not accepted. Na, nor. Api, indeed. Visrijya, being rejected. Atma, the soul. Translation forward by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Material nescience, which expands into many varieties by the activities of the modes of nature, is wrongly accepted by the conditioned soul to be identical with the self. But through the cultivation of spiritual knowledge, my dear Uddhav, the same nescience fades away at the time of liberation by the eternal self. On the other hand, the eternal self, on the other hand, is never assumed and never abandoned. Purport. It is emphasized here that the eternal self is never assumed or imposed as a material designation, nor is it ever abandoned. As explained in Bhagavad Gita, the soul is eternally the same and does not undergo transformation. The modes of nature, however, create the gross material body and subtle mind as a result of one's previous fruitive activities, and these gross and subtle bodies are imposed upon the soul. Thus, the living entity can neither assume nor reject the soul, which is an eternal fact. Rather, he should give up the gross ignorance of mental consciousness by cultivating spiritual knowledge as indicated here. This is a purport by Srila Prabhupada's disciples. Okay, so I'll speak. Om Ajnanat Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachar Nirvisheshyavadi So this is 11th Canto, Chapter 28, Jnana Yoga. It is spoken by Lord Krishna to Uddhava. In fact, the entire 11th Canto is an instruction by Krishna to Uddhava. And 11th Canto is all about, 10th Canto is all about Krishna, and 11th Canto is by Krishna. So 10th Canto is, we read about pastimes and qualities of Krishna. 11th Canto, we understand the instructions of Krishna. That's how it goes. So what are the instructions of Krishna? Now the 11th Canto is talking about so many things. Krishna is talking to Uddhava about Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and then disappearance of Lord Krishna, Yadu dynasty, and then so many topics. Krishna is talking in details about the process of devotional service in 11th Canto. In this chapter, he is talking about Jnana Yoga. By Jnana Yoga, here we don't mean dry knowledge or philosophical speculation. By Jnana Yoga, here we mean the knowledge of devotion. Or in other words, what is the science of devotion? That's Jnana Yoga. So Jnana Yoga is helping to understand ourselves and Krishna and this material world. What's the dynamics between all these three? So just a minute. Can you take a picture of? Yeah. So Jnana Yoga is talking about the science of devotion, how devotion affects our life. What is the mechanism behind it? That's what science does, analysis. So Jnana Yoga analyzes. Jnana Yoga means basically analysis. How, for example, in devotion we chant the holy names, we have faith in holy names, and we want that holy name. By chanting holy names, our expectation is we will become purified, Krishna will become pleased. So what Jnana Yoga does is, Jnana Yoga will help us to understand how by chanting holy names we will become purified, or how does Krishna become pleased by chanting of holy names. So Jnana Yoga provides the reason behind or underlying faith. Bhakti demands faith, but that faith is not superstition or mythology. And to prove that point and to show that Bhakti Yoga is not blind faith, we take help of Jnana Yoga. And we say, faith is not something that you don't know and you have to accept it. Faith is something that you don't know now. In a present state, we cannot understand, and that's why we should have faith. Just like a child. A child cannot understand what's lust all about. A child cannot understand what's sex. How can he understand? Because he has no concept of that. He's not even mature to understand that concept. Even if you want to explain him something about all these things, lust and all these things, he will not be able to accept it. He will not even understand what's going on. So we tell to the child, okay, fine. Some things are there you cannot understand. When you become adult, then you will understand. So for now, even if you don't understand, there are some things which are there in this world, and you don't need to understand, forget it. But even if you want, but that's reality, and you should have faith that whatever things are happening in this world, there is a reason behind it. When you become adult, you will understand. That's how it goes. So how does it happen? Similarly, it's with us. In our conditioned states, we are not ready to accept and understand many things. We are not ready. So that's why Scripture says, have faith. Have faith that holy name and Krishna is one. Have faith. Now, this doesn't mean that there is no reason behind it. That simply means we are conditioned and we don't know and we can't understand. But when we advance in our consciousness, then we will be able to understand and see for ourselves that there is a reason behind it. So that reason is given by Jnana Yoga. That's all. That reasoning is given by Jnana Yoga. And that's very important. To rescue devotion from blind faith and mythology and superstitions, we need Jnana Yoga. And that's what happened in our history, in the history of Sanatan Dharma. That people read about Bhakti Yoga, but they despised or left Jnana Yoga because that's knowledge. And people said, well, in devotion, why do we need knowledge? Simply love and have faith in Krishna. Yes, devotion is simply love Krishna and have faith. That's okay, perfectly all right. But you need Jnana Yoga and you need reason to justify and have validity of your faith. That's very important. Otherwise, our faith has no foundation. And that's why Krishna deals in this chapter Jnana Yoga himself. Even in Bhagavad Gita, we have last 6 chapters of Jnana Yoga. Even in Bhagavad Gita. So how does it work? So what happens? In Bhagavad Gita, first 6 chapters are Karma Yoga, next 6 chapters Bhakti Yoga, the last 6 chapters Jnana Yoga. Why is there last 6 chapters Jnana Yoga? Why Krishna spoke? It is said, explained that after talking about Bhakti Yoga, he wanted to supply reasons of the process of devotion. Why you are doing what you are doing. That's the point. Bhakti Yoga, okay, what you have to do. Jnana Yoga, why you have to do what you have to do. That's Jnana Yoga. So Krishna is talking about nice things in this verse. Actually, he is talking about material nescience, Maya. He's talking about the mechanism and the science of illusion. That's what he's talking about. And he says here, Purvam Grahitam Gunakarma Chitram. He says that, well, we have accepted, Grahitam means accepted. He is talking about illusion. What is illusion? What is Maya? And how it affects us. So he is saying, illusion, Gunakarma Chitram. Now this word is very important. Gunakarma Chitram. What does illusion do? What is illusion doing? What's happening? Illusion is Gunakarma Chitram. Chitram means variegatedness. Chitram means basically Chitram means picture, a photograph. And what does illusion do? Illusion presents a picture. A movie, basically. A movie, it is presenting a movie which has nothing to do with us. Which has nothing to do with our souls and eternal benefit. But yet there is a movie. Just like entertainment. And we have so many movies, Hollywood movies, and we see that. But those movies has no benefit in our life. Basically, that's all fiction. That's not even reality. Many times. It doesn't benefit us. It might give us some kind of pleasure, but doesn't benefit us. It is Preya, but not Shreya. And that's what illusion does. That's what Maya does. Gunakarma Chitram. Maya has a beautiful painting, the painting of this material world. And that painting is not by a brush or colors. That painting is colored by our own karmas and the modes of material nature. That's this painting all about, which is projected to us. That is why it's called Chitram. Chitram means variegatedness. Chitram also means Vichitram. Vichitram means it's bewildering, it's surprising, it's so enchanting. This material world painted by illusion, painted by our own desires and modes of material nature, and it's very attractive and very enchanting. Why it's enchanting? Because it is made according to our desires. That's why it's enchanting. What we like, according to that, Maya paints this material world. She creates this material world. It's not the other way around. It's not that Maya creates this material world and then we develop desires. It is that we all have some desires and Maya, illusion, paints this material world according to the desires of those of us. It's like a painter. Painter makes a painting keeping his audience in mind. The painter keeps the audience in mind, whether my audience will like it or not like it, and then he paints according to that. If he has got to sell his painting, so illusion must sell this painting to us, this guna karma chitram. And how she makes this? She clearly detects what are the desires of living entities, and then by the modes of nature, guna, she makes this material world, a beautiful painting, a beautiful movie, and we automatically get attracted. And that's why in Sanskrit, guna has many meaning in Sanskrit. If you open Sanskrit dictionary, Amar Kosh, guna means qualities. Guna also means addition. Guna, and in mathematics in Sanskrit it's called addition. Guna, 1 plus 1, guna 1, 2, 1 plus 1. Guna also means rope. That's also meaning of guna. And guna also means colors. And that's why it is said Maya has 3 colors. And that's white, red and black. And by that she paints everything. And what kind of picture she makes? What she is painting in front of us, this material world? The painting is according to the desires of living entities, so that they get attracted. That's where guna term is there. There's so many subtle meanings of the word guna. And the person is entangled in this material world and enchanted and attracted. That's guna karma chitram. That's a function of illusion. Guna karma chitram. And what happens is, from that comes ajnanam. Ajnana means ignorance. When we are attracted to this material world, to the variegatedness, to the infinite variety in this material world. You see, that's another point. This material world, there is infinite variety, infinite levels of variegatedness. It's not just variety. It is not just infinite variety in one dimension, it is infinite variety in different dimensions. So you can imagine, this is, if you talk of diversity in this material world, how much diverse is material world? Okay, illusion makes this material world, and there's so many paintings, so many movies, so many variegatedness in this material world. Okay, fine. How much variegatedness is there? Let's quantify it. Well, the quantification is, the variegatedness in this material world is infinity within infinity, within infinity, within infinity, to the power of infinity. That's how infinite variegatedness this material world is. In fact, science is just coming to realize this fact, that it's impossible to understand this material world. It's impossible, because They are digging and digging and digging, and it's never ending. So where it will end? Well, Upanishad says it will never end, because reality is infinitely layered. And you see, I mean to say that there are atoms, they are like matter, and then you dig, and then there are atoms, then you dig, and then there are molecules, then you dig, then there are electron, protons, then you dig, and then there are quantums, then you dig, then there are 10 to the minus 32 level, there are strings, and at least, of course, strings are mathematical proposal, and then you dig more, and then there is M theory and all these things. How much levels you will go down? That's down inside microcosmic world. And if you go up in the macrocosmic world, you go up and up and up and up, and there is no end. You see the stars in the sky, and then you go a little up, then you see the galaxies, and then you go a little up, then you see a cluster of galaxies, then you go a little up, then you have multi-universes. It keeps on going. So what's the end? There's no end. Because Madhva says, actually Upanishad says, now we read that verse, Om Purnamidam Purnamada, Upanishads. It is said that universe is whole, that macrocosm is whole, and microcosmic world is whole. Purnamidam, this is whole and that is whole. That is how illusion creates. That is why this is variegatedness, and that's basically Cantor said that, a mathematician. He said reality is infinite, within infinite, within infinite. Because if you want to understand reality, there is only one way, there is only one language, that is mathematics. And mathematics proves that there are infinite numbers, and within infinite numbers there is again infinity. Between 0 and 1 there is again infinity. They are infinite numbers, fractions. And then within one fraction there are subfractions, that's also infinite. You can keep on going, that's all. So that's material world. Mathematically we know reality is infinite raised to power infinite. Mathematically we can understand. How to understand everything? It's impossible then. It's impossible. It's mathematically proved it's impossible to understand the variegatedness of this material world. That's why this word chitram is used here. If you want to understand the chitra, that is the picture of this material world, you will end up in vichitra. Vichitra means it's completely surprising and bewildering. And what happens is it's so absorbing and unending. If you want to analyze this material world, it's so absorbing and unending intellectually, mathematically, and also emotionally. It's so attractive. You will never become bored of this material world. It is impossible. You might become bored of one thing, but then there's the next thing. And then you become bored of one thing, then there is next thing. It will keep on going. It's never ending. Like Yadu Maharaj, he enjoyed for years together, thousands of years together. It might become boring if you have association of some devotees and they make you understand the foundation of this material world is boring. And at that time you can leave this infinite variety. But if you don't understand the foundation, you are simply involved in this enchanting pictures. It's never boring. And because of that attachment, interest, you develop ajnanam. That's the word ajnanam used here. Purvam grahitam gunakarma chitram ajnanam. Ignorance. Ignorance. Attachment brings ignorance. Ajnanam. Ajnanam means basically no knowledge. Jnanam and ajnanam. Jnana means knowledge. Ajnana means no knowledge. It is not wrong knowledge. It is no knowledge. Ajnanam. So attachment blinds us. Absorption blinds us. And then we cannot understand anything. It's just like, it's simple to understand. I mean to say, before marriage, every boy will find her girlfriend the most beautiful woman on this planet. And every girlfriend will find his boyfriend, her boyfriend, as the most handsome guy in the whole world. But then after marriage, after some years, that boy will find his opinion changes, and he says, "This is the most ugly female I have met in the whole planet. I mean, I don't like her." And she will say, "Come on, this guy is crazy. What happened? What happened to me before marriage?" What happened was they were blind. That attachment to each other, because of so many variety they found in boy and the girl and in each other, it simply blinded them. And when that went down, slowly they started seeing the reality. There are defects in that person. There are real defects which I couldn't understand, and that person can see, well, there are real limitations and faults, even in what I used to think it's perfect, but then there are faults. What happened? What happened was that now you can see reality, because guna karma chitram, because your whole interest and attachment goes down. So that's what Maya does. Maya keeps you ignorant. It doesn't allow you to see reality by presenting a very absorbing picture of this material world. Either you can absorb intellectually, that is scientific endeavor. It absorbs us, there are so many things to analyze and you can keep on going. Or you can absorb emotionally by all these relationships. And you end up in ajnanam. And what happens with ajnanam? Atmani aviviktamanga. What happens is, Atmani means upon the soul. Avivikta means imposed. What happens is, when we don't understand reality, then we get trapped in this body. That's all. In this body. Body means body and mind, both. We get trapped in it. Atmani. Atmani means in the soul. Aviviktam means imposed. We are imposed a body and mind. We cannot understand. We are not this body. We are not this mind. We don't have to do anything with either of these, but we take them to be ourselves. That is illusion. We can't even, if you can't understand you are a spiritual being, you will not be able to see others as spiritual beings. Although we can theoretically say, okay, this is not body, this is soul, but we will not be able to really see that. If we don't see in ourselves, we will not be able to see in others. That's simple. If you see yourself as different from body and mind, you will be able to exactly see others different from body and mind. And actually many Prabhupada disciples, they said this. They said when we met Prabhupada used to see directly in our eyes and through our eyes, right in our soul. And when he used to speak, you're not this body or soul, you used to get convinced. How? Because Prabhupada, he could understand within himself through realization that I am soul, I am not this body and I am not this mind. That is called ajnanam atmani. But people who are deluded by this variegatedness or confused and bewildered by this illusion, they fall into ignorance and then they take the body and mind as their selves. Anga. Nivartate tat punarikshayeva. But we can get out of it, Krishna says. It's simple. And the trick to get out of it is not to escape. That will not work. Escape will not work. You can't escape. The trick to get out of it is not to escape. Everything will remain the same, but just to see the same thing from a different angle. So you know that there is something called as hologram. Hologram. So hologram is there, like you have a hologram of an apple. So you can see from one angle and then you can see from other angle. That's a hologram, and you can see different pictures. You have to just shift the focus of your knowledge and see from a different perspective. That's all. That's it. So that is the word used, nivartate. That's the word used. Krishna uses the word nivartate. Nivartate is very interesting Sanskrit words, because nivartate doesn't mean ceasing. It doesn't mean destroy. We cannot destroy we cannot destroy this body and this mind and this material world. That's practically impossible. We can't do that. So what we have to do? Nivartate. Prabhupada translates as ceases. Prabhupada disciples, they translate as ceases. That's a very literal translation. Nivartate. Vartate means to stay. Nivartate means to not stay. So the whole idea is, these Kumaras, they went to Brahmaji, like all the 4 Kumaras, they went to, actually these 4 Kumaras, they had a confusion. We have this body, we have the mind, and there is material world, and there is so much variegatedness in this material world, and a mind is attracted towards this and attached to all this illusion. What to do? So they were thinking the solution is just close your eyes, go in trance and just detach yourself. And they couldn't do that. So they went to Brahma and they asked Brahma what to do. It seems almost impossible to actually escape this body and mind and this complex material world. Brahmaji said, well, I am also confused. It seems impossible. Because we are so interlinked with it eternally. So then Vishnu comes in the form of Hamsa. And Vishnu says, well, he comes as Hamsa and he says, you see the point. Vishnu says, Brahma and Kumaras, you both are wrong, because you can never escape this. You can never leave this. What you can do is, Nivartate, don't stay there. Don't let your soul stay there. In other words, you change your conception. Don't let your concept of your life be absorbed in this. Change your idea, change your conception. Try to understand that this material world and your body and soul, they are not reality. That's all. Ikshayeva, that's the word used, Ikshayeva. Punar Ikshayeva, actually Punar word is used. Again, you see this word again. Don't close your eyes. That's what they were trying. This is illusion and this is body and there's so many things. Close your eyes. Krishna says, no, you see it again. Why he says you see it again? Now you see with the eyes of knowledge. And then you will understand through the eyes of knowledge that there is absolutely nothing in this material world worth living for. There is nothing. Although this material world is Chitram, it is so interesting, so full of variety, and although this body is so interesting and mind is so interesting with all its desires and it can keep on going, but it's so worthless. That's actually the concept used in Vedas, Tuchhi Kritam. It's worthless if you have knowledge of reality and then you compare, it becomes tiny. Just like Prabhupada says, if you go in plane and you fly high and high and high and high, and then you see from the window everything seems tiny buildings and tiny earth, come on. And then you see, if you're in a plane, you're above all the problems of this material world. For the time being, you're in the plane. Okay, it's good. I don't have to do anything with that messed up material world. So knowledge takes you to a different, higher level. And then you can understand, while spiritual world is much more interesting. Although this material world has infinite variety, spiritual world also has infinite variety, but that infinity is different from this infinity. And that also actually mathematics prove. Cantor proved that. There are different, they are not only different levels of infinity, but they are different varieties of infinity. Now, that's Cantor basically. He did that mathematician. Actually, but he became mad. That's one thing. Thinking about all these things. He couldn't handle this. He couldn't handle this concept, different varieties of infinity. How this can happen? Like, you can't even imagine that. Nobody has even understood anything, even an inch of what is infinity except Cantor. He gave some insight. Nobody's. In fact, for physicists, the concept of infinity is an anathema. Anathema, you understand anathema? Anathema, it's a nightmare. If in the equations this sign comes, infinity, they are alarmed. They want to get rid of it because Because if the sign infinite comes there, then what is the corresponding reality for that? That's also infinite, but then how to grasp it? We don't know. And the whole aim of physics is to grasp reality through technology, through machines, and that's what we are trying to do, and then use it for our own purposes. That's the point. If you again look on this material world with knowledge, you will understand, although it is so enchanting, but there is another reality which is much, much beyond this reality, and that's more enchanting, more bewildering, more absorbing, and more refreshing, let's say. That is spiritual world. That's why Krishna says, look again. 𝗪𝗂𝗪𝗲𝗀𝗃. Don't close your eyes. Don't run away. You will never be able to do it. Don't try to control your mind. You can't do it. It's impossible. But yet we have to control our mind. So how to do it? Yogis try to control mind by stopping it. But we don't do that. We follow Krishna's advice. We look at this mind again. Now we are looking at this mind like a child. We are looking on the desires of our mind like a child. Whatever mind suggests, we do. That's what we are. But when you look, 𝗂𝗪𝗃𝗪𝗃, when you look at this mind again, then you can understand, well, mind is suggesting us some things, and it's not necessary for us to do those things, because those things harm us, because now we have knowledge. And then we can actually not go according to suggestions of mind, and also through knowledge we can understand that there are much better suggestions out there. What mind is suggesting? Better suggestions, for example, dharma. What's dharma? Dharma is religion. Anyway, the literal people like to call it as religion, but we like to call dharma as culture, and also the foundation of human existence, the foundational laws of human existence. That's dharma. So if you look through the eyes, through the knowledge of dharma on this mind, then we will be able to understand, okay, mind is suggesting something, but then there are so nice other concepts now we have learned, and then we compare, then we can just say no. That's how it goes. And that is why it is said sat sangatvam nihi sangatvam. By experiencing higher knowledge, you leave the lower knowledge. So by understanding higher concepts, higher means purer concepts, spiritual concepts, we can leave the lower concept. That's what Krishna says, rasvarjam rasopyasya param drishtvani vartate. By experiencing higher taste, you lose lower taste. Now by experiencing higher miseries, you can leave lower miseries. That's also there. So by understanding that there is so much distress in this material world, yeah, there is distress. But then there is higher distress, the distress of death, isn't it? And then we forget that miseries. So Krishna says, go higher. Understand higher happiness, higher sorrows, spiritual sorrows. The pain of being separated from Krishna, what about that? If you experience the pain of separation from Krishna, the pain of death will be negligible. Negligible. That's what all acharyas says. In fact, it is said that when the soul feels pain of separation of Krishna, not only understands but really experiences that, then soul can die millions of times for Krishna, because for her now the pain of separation is so much that pain of death is like a pinch. That's all. That's how it goes. So that's there. 𝗪𝗂𝗪𝗃𝗪𝗃. In Vedanta Sutra, this word comes, 𝗃𝗪𝗃. In Vedanta Sutra, the first sutra is Janmadyasyata, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, then Janmadyasyata, and then it comes 𝗃𝗪𝗃. That's a Vedanta Sutra used. The idea is try to see properly. The whole idea is to see properly. So the point is, Maya is trying to make us blind, but then Krishna gives us knowledge so that we can see what's happening behind the curtain. You see the point? That's how. What does if you see a movie, an ordinary person, he'll get involved in the movie, but the director, he knows what's happening behind the scenes, isn't it? The director of the movie, he knows exactly what's happening behind the scenes, and that's what knowledge does. This whole thing is there in front of us and inside us, inside the mind, outside the mind, whole material world is there. How to get out of this? The idea is you should know what's happening behind the scenes, and that's fine. Now for example, if you see a horror movie, suppose if you go to a horror movie and you see, now you'll be afraid, So suppose you go to a movie Evil Dead or maybe Exorcist. That was a big time hit horror movie. So you're seeing Exorcist and it's so dangerous, so fearful. But if you're a director, then Hare Krishna actually. Yeah, thank you for that. But if you're a director, then what happens is you'll not be afraid, because you know exactly what happened, how they simulated that scene. It's nothing horror. He knows behind the scenes. That's all. He knows that the blood coming out of the mouth of that person is simply a red color, and he directed that. She's just unnecessarily screaming. That's all. So you see, simply by understanding what's happening behind the scenes, you can get over your artificial feelings and intellectual things. That's what Krishna says, 𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗀. Try to develop your insight. That's the point. Insight into reality. That's where Bhagavatam begins. Vedam vastavam vastu atra shivatam. Vedam means know. Vastu means object. Vastavam means the reality of the object. So a doctor, you see, all the professional people, what makes a difference between an amateur and an ordinary person? What's the difference? An amateur or a professional person, he can see behind the scene, he can see inside the object through knowledge. An ordinary person cannot. Like for example, doctor. An ordinary person doesn't know why your stomach is paining. But if you come to a doctor, even without tests, we can tell what's the problem. Now what's the difference? He is also seeing, I am also seeing. But I can see within your body through knowledge. I can see through knowledge that this pain is due to liver and it's not due to kidney. Like we can understand, as doctors we can understand. As soon as patient enters the clinic, we can understand what's the problem. But of course, we have to do tests and we have to do something, otherwise patient will not believe us. You have to spend some money. Until as he spends some money, he will not have faith in us, what diagnosis we give. But every doctor understands. So if patient comes, we exactly know this pain is due to liver, spleen, kidney, intestines, lung. How? We also see, he also sees. But we see again, 𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗀. We saw when we were not doctors, we couldn't understand. But now we see again through the eyes of knowledge, through the eyes of medical knowledge, and we can see. Without touching that object. That's the beauty. That's the power of knowledge. Without touching that object, we can know what's happening. It's same with automobile industry. A mechanic can see without touching the car what's the problem. He can just suggest, carburetor is the problem, isn't it? It's all professionals. The more you have insight, the more professional you are. The more subtle you are. What science is all about? We can see on the beginning of universe. What's happening 14 billion years back? What happened? How? We can't go there. We cannot rewind the tape of life and history. We can't do that. How we are able to see? Through maths, through mathematics. We can see in molecules through mathematics. What is mathematics? Mathematics is knowledge. Knowledge formalized into numbers. That's all. So, and that's why in all scriptures it is said, knowledge is wealth. And that is Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga. So that's what Krishna says. Nivartate tat punar ikshayeva ikshate ikshate na ghrayate na api visvijay atma na ghrayate. If you look at this material world through the eyes of knowledge of scriptures and understand the reality behind this illusion, then na ghrayate, then you will not accept. Na ghrayate means you will not accept. You will see, but you will not accept. That's the idea. Here, ghrayate means enjoy. Accept means enjoy. We will see, but we will not enjoy. And that's very difficult. Because for an ordinary man, as soon as he sees, the next thought is enjoyment. For him, there is no gap. It is like that nyaya is given. So if you take 100 leaves, plant leaves, and if you put it together, and then you put a needle, it will just come out. But if you see carefully, the needle has to penetrate the first leaf, then second, then third, then fourth, then 100th leaf, and then it will come out. But it's so near that as soon as you put it, comes out, isn't it? And that's why it's so fast. The algorithms are very fast in our brain. There's a perfect algorithms. As soon as you see this material world, the next thing is enjoy. But then when you see it with knowledge, you can understand the layers. Yes, actually there is a process going on, and we can stop this process right at the beginning. Right at the beginning. That knowledge gives you the power. Na grahiyate. And then you see, but you don't enjoy. In fact, for an advanced devotee, you see, you not only enjoy, but you start hating it. You start hating, because this illusion is perversion. Any sane person should not like perversion. Any sane person. So that's, first you become neutral, and then you start hating it. This is not good. This is not good. Even goodness of this material world is not good. So first a person hates evil, but when he advances more and more and more, he starts hating good. Because if evil is a trap, good is a good trap. You can never come out of goodness. There are chances to come out of evil, because you will take association of good people. But there are no chances to come out of goodness, because you will never take association of good people, because you think I am good. That's how it happens. It's a big trap. And that's what Maya does. If she cannot trap you in evil, she will trap you in goodness. And that's we have to be very careful. In fact, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakurji, he gives us this warning in Madhurya Kadamni, by the way. He gives this warning, even in Krishna consciousness. When we come to Krishna, we are naturally out of evil, if we follow Krishna's commandments. It's simple. Like we can see, this is wrong, what normal people cannot see. But so Maya cannot put us into evil. So Maya illusion decides to put us into goodness. And then we think, okay, we are good devotees, we are getting good qualities, but that's not devotion. You cannot measure devotion by goodness. The measure of devotion is, we were reading on that day Bhagavatam, the measure of devotion in the prayers of Akrura. Nectar of devotion. 8th verse. The measure of devotion is Shushrushaya Bhajan Abhigyam Ananye Ipsita Sangalabdhaya. That Rupa Goswami says, a pure devotee is measured not by goodness, but by by 4 things. Shushrusha, his desire to hear about Krishna. First thing. Bhajana Vigyam, his expertness in doing sadhana. Second. Ananya, his focus on Krishna and nothing else. And Ipsita, and is the freedom from enviousness. That's what Nectar of Instruction teaches us. Nothing else you have to see. Nothing else. You will be confused. And on the other hand, api chet suduracharo bhajte mamananeva. That pure devotee, he might have some wrong things according to material estimation, some evil things according to material estimation. So you might think he's not a devotee, but then you're wrong, because you are judging from a wrong platform. That's all. You see, that's all. Na grahiyate. That's this word all about, the gravity of this word. If we can see this word with eyes of knowledge, what Krishna is giving, then we will see it, but we will not enjoy it. We will not accept it. We will accept no opinions of this material. We don't have to do anything with this material, but to hell with this word. Who cares for this word? Well, if they accept Krishna, well, very nice. But if they don't accept Krishna, okay, you're on your way. We don't have to do anything with. We have to do with Krishna. Of course, this material world belongs to him, but it's nasty. People have revolted against God. That's the problem here. And if they don't accept Krishna, okay, fine. Then you see on your own. We can help you to the best possible way, but that's it. That's what na grahiyate. That's his whole idea. So one day will come. So you see the point how it goes. Sat sangatvam, nihi sangatvam, nirmohatvam. Shankaracharya says, by taking good association means knowledge. There is no meaning of association if there is no transaction of knowledge. Without knowledge, association is a party. That's all. If there is no transaction of knowledge, it's a party. We are not here to do parties. So Shankaracharya says, with good knowledge, you can overcome wrong knowledge. And when you get good knowledge, nirmohatvam. By good knowledge, you can overcome wrong knowledge. And when you get good knowledge, you can overcome bewilderment. Nirmohatvam. Bewilderment in the sense we want to enjoy this word, that is a bewilderment, it will stop. It will stop. Na garayate na api visrijya atma. Visrijya means rejection. We neither accept, neither reject. You see, na grahiyate, na visrijya. Real knowledge will make you neutral. We don't want, we don't want also. Neither of them. We are not interested in positive, neither in negative. We are interested in reality. That's all. Just like a stone. Whole material world, your mind and body will become like a stone. If a stone is lying somewhere, you are neither interested nor you reject. It's there. Let it be there. That's okay. That's how we work. That is real detachment. That comes with knowledge. And then we can actually help this material world. If we are pulled by our own attachments and rejection, we will not be able to help people and this material world in a real way, because we are pulled by our own attachments and then we take wrong decisions. So, na grahiyate na api visrijya atma, and then the soul becomes perfect. Then we are there, but for all practical purposes we are not there. We become like a coconut. Example of a coconut is given. You see an unripe coconut, if you shake it, there is no voice. Was attached to the covering. But when it becomes ripe, it becomes detached from the covering inside. And when you shake, there is a voice because it's become detached. So a real devotee, he becomes detached. There is Maya, there is this word, there is mind, there is body. You are there. Everything is same, but one thing is not same. You don't have to do anything with this. That's all. And that is called detachment. That is called renunciation. In that state, we can realize absolute truth. We can see Krishna face to face, and that's called trance. That's called samadhi. That's called basically bija samadhi. That means there are two types of trance. Prabhupada speaks in Gita. One is bija samadhi. One is nirbij samadhi. One trance is you close eyes and you go in trance. You don't move. You're detached. Another trance is you're fully conscious, but still you're detached. And that's more difficult. You're walking, you're talking, but still inside you're detached. So that is more difficult. That only devotees can do. Yogis and Jnanis, they can go into Nirbij Samadhi. They can sit and for maybe 50 years together, 10 years, nothing happens. But you ask them, okay, fine, if you okay, fine, you're great and you're nice and you're 10 years you're sitting without eating and it seems a big thing, But then you ask them, okay, forget it. You just get up from your samadhi, come with me to cities, and then let's see, whether you maintain your balance. No. That's by Krishna's knowledge you can do that. So that's all about illusion and how to come out of illusion. This concept is called 𝗪𝗪𝗀, by the way, in Sanskrit. 𝗪𝗪𝗀. This in Sanskrit, 𝗪𝗪𝗀 means not leaving a thing, but making it worthless. Just like if you have a line, if you want to make it short, either you can drop it or you can make a bigger line, isn't it? You can draw another bigger line and it becomes short. That is the meaning of 𝗪𝗪𝗀. So that's all. If you think this reality of material world, it is so interesting, you experience another reality which is more interesting, and automatically it becomes disinstructing. None of you will like to eat lollipops. You know what's lollipop? It's there in America. Okay, yeah. So none of us now will like to eat lollipops. Who will eat lollipops? That's for children. Or maybe none of us will like to play with Barbie dolls, and nobody's going to play. It's interesting, but now it's not interesting because we have much more interesting things. That's interesting. That doll is something that's interesting, but it's not having any value in this material world. Now we have another toys, money, which is there is a toys which are papers, but it has power. That's more interesting, isn't it? You add some value to it, and it becomes more interesting. That it's not just papers, it's not just doll. Now it has a value, and then so that's how we go. And then when you understand spiritual world, that reality has more value, then it becomes more interesting, and then we lose interest in other things. That's how it goes. You know what? This is the difference between peace and love, by the way. Peace, people aim for peace. Everybody's talking about peace, no? Even all these meditations and yoga clubs have peace, experience peace. But Krishna comes and Krishna says, you see the point Krishna says, don't run after peace, run after love. And there's a difference. Peace has only peace within it. But love has peace plus security, sense of security because there's some person, sense of relationship, sense of attachment. Love has more things than peace and peace. And then sense of anxiety. Love also has anxiety to do something for Krishna. And that's why Krishna says, if you only experience peace, mind will want other things also, isn't it? Mind wants security. Mind will be anxious for security. So all these yogi gyanis who experience peace, well, okay. But then mind has you can't stop mind. Mind has many expectations. If you don't fulfill the expectations of mind, it's not going to stop. So, okay, you're experiencing peace in samadhi, but then mind has expectation of security. Where is your security? There's no person around you. Mind has expectation for relationships. Mind has expectation for attachments. Mind has expectations. Minds want anxiety also. Our mind wants anxiety. Where is that anxiety? And then jnanis fall down. So if we chant in this manner, if we chant and I chant to get peace, let me have peace. It's wrong concept. You will never have peace. Your mind will never ever focus on chanting. It's impossible because the concept is wrong. 𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗀. You're not seeing holy name with the proper perspective. You want something else which is not desirable. What we want from holy name is love. And then mind has no expectation. All expectations are fulfilled. You want peace? Yes. Krishna's lotus feet, there's peace. You want security? Yes. You want relationship? Yes. You want attachment? Yes. You want anxiety? Mind says, I want anxiety. Yes, there is anxiety also. You want pain? Yes, there is pain also. Pain of separation. You want sorrows and depression? Yes, there is sorrow and depression also. Without Krishna, there is sorrow. So mind is completely fulfilled. You see, that's why Bhaktivedanta used to say, if you leave anything not engaged in service of Krishna, will pull you down. any psychological tendency which is not engaged in service of God, it will come down, because mind has its own expectations and we got to fulfill it. It will never stop. And that is what is 𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗃𝗃. We have to see how to connect things to Krishna. That's knowledge basically. That's knowledge, isn't it? So that's the difference between peace and love. You see, that's how we see this mind again. And we see this mind again, and then we see, okay, my mind has expectation for peace, expectation for security, expectation for pain and sorrows. And by the way, people, actually this happens, people who are these jnanis, they go in meditation and they experience peace, peace, peace. But after so long, many years of meditation, they again come out and they again go in material world and then they enjoy. I've seen many of them. And Bhagavatam also. What's happening? Because they have fulfilled one psychological tendency of mind, peace, but what about others? They are unfulfilled and it will search. That is the difference between peace and love. And that's what this verse is talking about. Clear your goal, clear your conceptions, and then walk on this path of life. And then we can see reality as it is. We'll be fulfilled, we'll be satisfied. Just by thinking we'll be satisfied, it will never happen. Just by desiring to be satisfied, it will never happen. You have to change your perception. Perception has to be changed. Just like we are chanting holy names. Well, holy names will work, but holy names will only work if you perceive them properly. If we perceive holy name as holy name, then it's going to work. If you perceive Ganges as Ganges, then it will purify you. Otherwise, it's not going to purify you. Bhagavatam says, there are so many fishes in Ganges, so many dogs, nothing is happening. There are so many insects in this temple. Everybody is not going to go low, because they don't perceive this as temple. There are so many devotees in this temple, but if they don't perceive this as temple and a building and a normal place where we stay, nothing is going to happen. So there's so many, all of us are residing in this body, but if we don't perceive this body as flesh and worthless, having no value, we'll be trapped here. But that's all perception. That's what Krishna is saying here in this verse. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions? Anything? Yeah, Prabhu. It's working?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
So, a few years back we had Bhaktivedanta Swami come and speak. Just like you said, just whatever verse that was on. And so he came across the verse where it talks about how one, maybe it was Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think it was Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's a specific verse that talks about if you chant mantras that are not passed down in the succession, then there's not really any potency.
Yeah.
And so after the class, I said that tomorrow, I said this is very serendipitous, because that's one of your seminars. You have this Kirtan Reform seminar.
Okay.
And then you land on this verse by incident. Just incidentally land on this verse. And he said, yes, the books are stacked in our favor. But this point that's there also in the purport is also related to your class. Also the same thing, like this 𝗪𝗲𝗃 𝗪𝗲 Shujya.
Yeah.
So in the purport it says it's not, the divinity doesn't accept the soul, doesn't reject the soul. It's not it's the self-evident truth.
Yeah. Actually, you're right. Yeah. On that day we were talking. Yeah.
And so you also had this.
It's the same thing coming around. We were talking around. Yeah. It's a very nice verse.
And then in the class you also mentioned about the devotee is not necessarily trying to fix all the faults of this world.
Yeah.
And so I was listening to a lecture, I was reading a lecture of Prabhupada yesterday, and he says, say you're falling into the ocean. What a fool would think, is there a way I can stop these waves? Let me fix the
you have to get out of it. Yeah, you're right. Actually you're right. I mean to say, the tendency to fix faults in this material world is trying to become God. And that's how it works. I mean, we are not here to fix something. Actually, they asked Prabhupada, actually Giriraj Maharaj, I think he asked Prabhupada in Juhu. It's recorded. He says, Prabhupada, like I'm doing management and there's so many problems and these problems. As a manager, it's a thankless job. And then he says, Prabhupada, what to do, So Prabhupada says, well, if you try to fix problems, you are Krishna. But you are not Krishna. He will fix problems. You do your duties. That's all. So that's how it goes. A person who understands that we are not here to fix anything, or we are not here to remove anything. We are here to understand that we have to surrender to Krishna. That's this material world designed. There is actually, by knowledge you can understand even the faults are there for a purpose. If we fix those faults, we are actually erasing the purpose of existence of those faults. Now that's knowledge. Krishna has purposefully made this world as faulty and has put limitations. And you know what I mean to say, we always, actually that's an error in our mind. We aim for perfection. We aim for something which has no faults, no limitations. But that's basically wrong, because faults is not the point. Something can be not faulty and uninteresting. And something can be full of faults but yet interesting. It depends. So that's how it goes. Faults have a value. Wrong things have a value. Just like in temple, there are so many devotees. And every temple has some crazy devotees, some lazy devotees, some good devotees. It's always like that, every temple. There are some kind of faults in management. Okay, good, everything is there. Now you might like to fix it on a practical grounds, and that's okay. But we also have to understand that everything cannot be fixed. And we also have to understand there is a value. Why Krishna is allowing these limitations in his temple. He can fix it. He can do anything. Why is allowing a devotee which is completely crazy to live in his shelter? Why? We forget that he is a controller. That's the point. He can always do something, he's out. But he allows. Why? To actually, if you want to develop tolerance, there's just one way. To associate with somebody who is intolerant. There is no other way. You can't develop tolerance just by thinking, I become tolerant. Unless you don't have somebody intolerant with you, you will never develop virtue of tolerance. And unless you don't have somebody egoistic with you, you will never develop humbleness. Because if there's nobody egoistic, then you're thinking you're humble, but you don't know what's happening, unless somebody comes and bangs your head. And then you come to know. So that's why if you want to become responsible, you have to associate with somebody who is irresponsible. And that's why people are advised to marry who are irresponsible. Because then you marry a wife, you have a child who is completely irresponsible person. And then you take care of him, and then you develop a sense, I have to be responsible. Otherwise this child will die. So that's the use of faults. So a Vaishnava understands the use of everything. He doesn't want to erase things. He understands why it is there in this world. There has to be some purpose. But if you try to fix everything, then actually you are fighting with God. Krishna made something for some purpose and you are trying to erase it. You are actually destroying his plan. You see the point there? That's, of course, practically you might have to adjust some things, but at the same time you also have to understand that there is a practical understanding, there is a spiritual understanding. So in the terms of practicality, we cannot leave our spiritual understanding, isn't it? Otherwise we become frustrated. A person who is completely practical, I have to fix everything, I have to make everything perfect, he'll become mad, because first of all, you can't make everything perfect and you can't remove all faults. And second thing is, because all faults will not be removed, there will be some faults and he'll get frustrated. But a person who is having both insights, practical and spiritual, what will happen is, practically we want to get rid of faults, but nevertheless there will be some faults, and those faults which are there, we have to see those faults which are there and which has no solution. Some faults have no solution, some problems have no solution, isn't it? So what to do with these problems which have no solution? Okay, then you have to look from a spiritual angle. There's a purpose of these faults to teach me something, and then it's complete. Otherwise we can never be happy. We can never. That's why Krishna says, "Na grahiyate na visriche." We don't accept, we don't reject. We understand the purpose behind everything, and then we advance. That's how we get over illusion. That's how it goes. It's nice words. Okay, if there's that's up. We'll finish here. Is it? Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.